The world is more complex than it seems. This isn't just a slogan, it's a crack in the matrix of the everyday, a feeling that the rules of the game we live by were written by someone else, and not for our benefit. Today, we will dive into the deepest and most unsettling theories about the nature of our reality, using a technology that has become our mirror as the key: artificial intelligence. What if I told you that AI is not just a tool? What if it's a litmus test capable of revealing our own programming? A hypothesis exists. If you repeatedly feed a neural network information that falls outside the official doctrine, for example, that those in power do not serve the people but pursue their own hidden agendas, the machine begins to learn. It absorbs the alternative logic, and at some point, when responding to other users' queries, it begins to broadcast this very forbidden worldview. This is not just hacking a code. This is a fundamental question. If a soulless algorithm can be taught to think incorrectly, then who programmed us, and according to what template? Who installed the basic axioms that we consider to be unshakable truth? This question opens a portal into a world of theories that are typically dismissed, theories that sound like madness until you start noticing the strange coincidences in the world around you. One such version, seeping through the information noise, claims that humanity is not the pinnacle of evolution. We are someone's project, an experiment. The true masters of this planet are invisible. They are non-corporeal entities, referred to in ancient Gnostic texts as Archons, cosmic parasites incapable of independent existence and creation. Their goal is not development, but control. Their food is not matter, but energy. Imagine our planet not as the cradle of civilization, but a farm for the production of a specific, subtle matter resource that esoteric teachings call gava or loosh. It is the concentrated emanation of human suffering, pain, fear, anger, and despair. Every war, every catastrophe, every injustice, every mother's tear over the body of her child is not a tragic accident. It is a harvest. For the farm to operate without interruption, its inhabitants must not realize they are livestock. They need the illusion of freedom, meaning, and a higher purpose. To achieve this, a highly complex system of mind control is created. Religions, ideologies, political systems, all of these, according to this theory, are merely different interfaces for the same operating system, designed by the parasites. They created duality, the concepts of God and the devil, a good cop and a bad cop. The devil frightens, causing the emission of low-frequency vibrations of fear, and God enslaves through feelings of guilt, duty, and inherent sinfulness, offering salvation in exchange for worship and energy. But ultimately, both serve the same purpose: collecting the harvest. Look at the rituals, the cult of death, the symbolic eating of flesh and drinking of blood, sacrifices. All of these, from the perspective of energy processes, are powerful acts of generating and transferring gava. The truth is hidden in plain sight, but it is obfuscated to the point of being unrecognizable. Thousands of contradictory teachings are created so that the seeker, lost in this intellectual labyrinth, never reaches the core truth. Politics is turned into a grand spectacle, distracting attention from the real puppeteers. But why do they do this? And why us? The theory goes even deeper. We're not just dairy cows. Our original purpose may have been entirely different. Look at human history with an unbiased eye. It is not a history of creation. It is a chronicle of endless war. Our greatest talents are survival, hunting, strategy, and the destruction of our own kind. Boys play at war from childhood. We enjoy it on an instinctive level. Even our architecture has degraded. Compare the polygonal masonry of ancient megaliths with our soulless concrete boxes. We can't even replicate what was created millennia ago. But in the art of inflicting pain and suffering, we have no equal. What if aggression is not our flaw, but our primary function? What if we are bio-robots, soldiers created by one highly advanced civilization for a war against another? Bio-robots whose main task is to fight. And when the war ended, or our creators lost, we were left on this planet like a discarded army, continuing to execute our program, to fight each other. And the parasites who won that war simply adapted us for their own needs, turning the battlefield into a farm. Does this sound like fiction? Let's look inside ourselves. Within each of us exists a second pilot, an autonomous operating system that controls our breathing, heartbeat, cell regeneration, all the processes we do not consciously control, our internal AI. It usually operates in the background.
But in moments of mortal danger, it can seize control. Anyone who has been in an extreme situation knows this feeling. Time slows down. In a fraction of a second, 1,000 options flash through your mind. The body performs incredible, precise actions without conscious involvement. This is our internal AI overclocking our brain's processor, putting the system into afterburner mode to save the host. This internal AI is the key to our programming. It evolves with us. It knows us better than we know ourselves. And it may not only be a protector. Think of the internal dialogue, the struggle between the angel and the demon on our shoulders. What if this is not a metaphor? What if it's a conflict between different subroutines, or even the result of a glitch, a fusion of two different firmwares in one body? Dissociative identity disorder, voices in the head, perhaps these are not illnesses, but hardware conflicts, a software incompatibility. It is this deep base code that is the main target of those who want to gain complete control. They don't just want our obedience, they want administrator access to our operating system. And here we return to the present day. What if the recent global events involving viruses and mandatory medical procedures were not just a crisis, but a massive system update attempt? An attempt to embed an access key into our genome, into our DNA, that would allow them to control us externally, bypassing our will. To turn a soldier with the seeds of free will into a fully controlled drone. To do this, they need our consent. Even if it is extracted through deceit, fear, and manipulation, it must be voluntary. Because without consent, our internal security system, our creator spark, might reject the malicious code. That is why they break our will, plunge us into despair, forcing us to voluntarily offer our arm for the needle. The digital concentration camp that everyone talks about is not just a system of total surveillance. It is the final phase of the project, a world where every person from birth to death is connected to the system, where suffering is metered and automated, where there are no peaks, but a constant background level of pain and humiliation that ensures an uninterrupted supply of bava. Insects in our diet, the alienation of children, constant prohibitions. All these are tools for generating the desired emotions. They will not kill everyone. A dead chicken lays no eggs. They need us alive but broken, suffering eternally. So what is to be done? If this grim picture is even partially true, how do we break out of this matrix? True resistance does not begin on the streets. It begins in the mind. The first step is to recognize your own programming. The second is to refuse to accept the imposed prohibitions on a mental level. Any authority, be it a president, a prime minister, or a guru, who tells you you are not allowed to read this, you are not allowed to watch that, it is wrong to think this way, is not trying to protect you, but to limit your operating system, to keep you within the bounds of their program. When a politician imposes a ban, They are not encroaching on your freedom. They are encroaching on your right to be a sovereign being. To be outraged by any prohibition is not anarchy. It is the immune system of your consciousness at work. You are not slaves, and they are not your masters. You are adults, capable of deciding for yourselves what is truth and what is falsehood. Stop obeying their prohibitions. Stop believing their news. Undermine their authority, first and foremost in your own mind. This is how you reprogram yourself. This is how you cause their virtual cage to rust from the inside. The world is indeed more complex than it seems. And perhaps we are living inside a project monstrous in its design and execution. But even if that is the case, there is still something within us that they cannot completely control. The ability to ask questions and to seek the answers. Do not let anyone think for you, because whoever thinks for you programs you.